Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast-o-matic presentation and recording for the part of the lesson that has us looking at Congress in a flash. Please remember that your task here is to answer the key concept questions as they coincide with the reading and to complete the exercises down below. Please also remember that you can play any part of this presentation for detailed clarity or repetition later on. Let's go ahead and get started. What is Congress? The United States Congress is the legislative or lawmaking branch of the federal government. Congress is bicameral, which means it's made up of two chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Each chamber includes elected officials from all 50 states. They meet in Washington, D.C. to legislate or make laws for the entire country. Congress was created by the Constitution, and that document describes how the branch of government works. For clarity, here are some key terms that you should know. To legislate is a verb that means to make laws. A legislator is a person who makes the laws. Legislative refers to, of course, lawmaking. The legislative branch is the lawmaking body. Legislation refers to a written document that is or may become a law. Now, why Congress? When the Constitution was written, the goal was to create a government that represented the people. Congress works toward this goal by creating laws that reflect the needs and wants of the United States citizens. The work Congress does serves the nation as a whole. Senators help by representing the needs of the entire state, while members of the House, also called representatives, work for the people in a specific section of their state. How does it work? Well, all the instructions for Congress can be found in the first section of the Constitution, Article 1. It is the longest section of the Constitution and it covers a lot of ground. How old you have to be to serve in Congress? How long do you have to get to serve? How does Congress relate to other branches? All of this and more can be found in a close read of Article 1, but this handy chart shows some of the basics. Let's talk about the size first. In the Senate, there are 2 senators from each state, with 100 total. In the House, the number of representatives from each state depends on the population, although there are 435 total. Who qualifies in the Senate? Well, senators must be at least 30 years of age, a U.S. citizen for at least 9 years, and live in the state that they represent. Representatives, on the other hand, must be at least 25, a U.S. citizen for at least 7 years, and live in the state that they represent. Senators, once again, represent the interests of the citizens across their entire state for a term of 6 years, while members of the House represent the interests of citizens who live in their specific district, like a section of a state, for a term of 2 years. As far as special duties are concerned, the Senate is involved in approving presidential appointments like ambassadors, judges, and cabinet members, while House members are in charge of, all bills that deal with raising money, like taxes, and of course they must start in the House. As far as checks and balances for both, Congress can call for the impeachment of the president, pass bills over a presidential veto with a 2/3 vote, and create lower federal courts. The president can veto bills from Congress, and the Supreme Court can strike down laws as unconstitutional. As far as roles in lawmaking, a bill can start in either chamber, but a bill must be approved by both chambers of Congress before it can go to the president to be signed into law. On the next page here, the powers of Congress are as follows. The Constitution also lists powers Congress has that the other branches and individual states do not have. These are called enumerated, expressed, or listed powers. The Constitution doesn't necessarily say how each power should be used, just that they belong to the legislative branch. Now, this can create controversy about what Congress is actually allowed to do, depending on how you count them. There are between 17 and 35 individual powers on the list, so here are a few. Create rules on how to become a citizen, collect taxes, pay debts, borrow money, regulate commerce, trade between states with other countries, coin money and punish counterfeiters, punish pirates, establish post offices, protect patents and copyrights, create lower federal courts, declare war, raise and support an army and navy, make any other laws that are necessary and proper to carry out the powers in this list, and more. So what about lawmaking? Well, the members of the House and Senate have a really important job. They are in charge of making the laws that run our country. Representatives and senators are called legislators because they have this unique power to write bills or legislation that would become laws. How is a law made? Well, it starts with having an idea about how to deal with the problem facing the country. Now, there's a lot of research, conversation, compromise, and more conversation. In this diagram below, we're going to learn about that. Watch a bill become a law. Bills can start in either chamber of Congress, but our example starts in the House of Representatives. The proposal. A representative writes a bill and gets support from others in the House. Introduction. The bill is assigned a number and is read aloud to the other representatives, and then it is sent to a committee for close review. The report. If the committee likes it, it will be sent to the whole House for debate. The floor debate. All the representatives get a chance to read the bill and debate whether it should be supported or opposed. The bill is read again and changes are suggested. The vote. If changes are made, the bill is read again and the whole House is called to vote on the bill. They can vote yes, no, or present, and if they don't want to be voting on that particular bill, The delivery, the bill arrives at the Senate, where it goes through the same debate, changes are made, and then another vote is held before it can move on. Next, here's to the president, and if both chambers of Congress approve, the bill lands on the president's desk. If it is signed, it becomes a law. If it is vetoed, it doesn't. Now, Congress can override a veto if there are enough votes, 2/3 of the Congress, to do so. The president can also ignore the bill, but if the bill is ignored while Congress is in session, it automatically becomes a law after 10 days. If Congress is not in session, it doesn't. So as you guys can see, there's a lot to know about Congress here. Now go ahead and put your knowledge to the test by correctly designating which characteristic goes in which column on your Google Doc. Once you're finished with that, you may move on and complete the other parts of the section. I hope that you'll enjoy this unit as much as I enjoy teaching it, as Congress and the legislative branch is a key part of our democracy, and so understanding it is just that much more important. Thank you very much for tuning in.